Hello and welcome to Rust Locker, and in today's video the combo van is getting some much needed love and attention because I've got a couple of front end modifications in mind. I won't say too much more here, I will leave it as a surprise, and let's go down the shed and I'll explain a little bit more down there. Right, so this is actually my workshop shed, believe it or not, and as you can see, pretty rammed with junk at the moment. The eagle-eyed, let me shut that door because it's creaky. Yeah, so the eagle-eyed ones of you will have spotted the bonnet straight away as soon as I open the door, and yes, right there is indeed a bonnet. Now, ever since I first bought my combo van, it's had a few little nicks and scratches and dents, and the worst of those were actually on the bonnet. A couple of years ago I did try just filling in the scratches with a bit of paint just to blend it, but because it's actually dented, to repair it would have been, you know, sand it down, fill it, respray, try and blend it in, or respray the whole bonnet. So I always sort of thought in the back of my head that I'd probably end up just buying another bonnet if I could find one that was cheap enough and clean enough and just do a straight swap. So what I have done is I have bought another bonnet. It's in different condition to the one that I've got. It hasn't got any serious dents or scratches, but the paintwork does need attention. It does need a respray, essentially. But the reason why I've bought this, rather than a clean white one, is that this was off of a highly modified combo van. So this has actually got a couple of little goodies on the bonnet, which is going to save me time in the long run. Okay, so now that we're outside, I can flip the camera around and show you the bonnet a bit better. So as you can see, this is why I bought it, because the previous owner of this bonnet on the combo has already put in some vents. They are functional vents, they're not real carbon fibre though, I don't think, but they are functional. They have got gaps through there to assist with some airflow. Comes with bonnet pins already cut in. Only thing wrong with those is obviously whatever coating or wrap that someone's put on there is starting to come off, and then it's looking a bit tacky. And obviously we've got these blue stripes down the side here. That's paint, it's not a wrap. So yes, I think it's paint. Yeah, it's paint. I'm not really digging the blue stripe look. It looked good on his van because he carried on that colour theme down the sides with some blue stripes, but obviously I'm not running that, so this looks a bit weird just on a white van. So obviously I want to get rid of that, so it's going to require painting white. Now, something you probably can't notice at the moment is that he's also modified the bonnet. You can just about see the seam line there. Yes, this is in fact what they would call a bad boy bonnet. So it's kind of got the eyebrows built into the bonnet. So that's going to look pretty sick when I get this all sorted out. So I've got it flipped up the other way now, so you can see the underside is black. Yeah, it needs a spray, to be honest. I mean, there's rust peeking through on the cuts that he's done. It was kind of a rough job on this side of the bonnet. You can tell the guy didn't really care about what this side of the bonnet looked like. You can see where he's used a piece of metal. He's obviously just used a piece of mild steel to weld the bad boy eyes on, and that's starting to rust a little bit, so that all needs fixing. As you can see, he's got a bit mad with the filler, so that needs neatening up, and then obviously on the edges there where it's been sitting is quite scratched, and that needs fixing as well. Over here we've got some peeling going on with this paint, so I don't know how I'm going to fix that. I'm not 100% bothered about this side of the bonnet either. I would like to fix it up and make it look a bit better than it actually is. this is the side that needs the most sort of rust repair and fix work done. So I'll do the underside first. Once that's all nice and clean and crisp, then I'll start working on the top side. Okay, so I've given the underside of it a little bit of a sand. Let's have a look. It's looking slightly better, but all I've just done is basically given it a once over with 240 grit just to flatten it off and get some of the worst bits off. Over here where I was talking about earlier with the extensions here on the bonnet, where he's welded them on, you can see the spot welds there, and you can see quite a lot of rust, so I'm having to actually use quite a high grit to get all the way back to bare metal on those bits there so I can treat it properly. I had decided not to take out these bonnet pin things because one, the bolt looked kind of rusty, and two, I think he's used the filler to actually fill a gap because this won't line up flush with the metal on the bonnet. So, you know, I might be just uncovering a whole can of worms there. So what I'm going to be doing now is just going to be sanding it some more and see where we go from there. Right, so it's actually been a couple of days since that last clip. I've just been working on the bonnet sort of here and there wherever I had time and just did bits and pieces really. So where it is at the moment is I've fixed all the little rust patches, used some zinc based primer, just neatened up the welds where the bad boy eyebrows were, did a little bit of filler here and there as well just to try and neaten up a little bit. Now I was actually going to paint the engine side of the bonnet black with a oven type of paint, heat-proof paint. That was the plan, but on further inspection, reading the instructions on the can, it actually says that you have to apply it to bare metal. You can't have it on any other paint or primer. And I just really don't fancy sanding the entire bonnet, underside of the bonnet, back to bare metal. So I'm going to paint both sides the same colour, which is going to be the Arctic white of the van, and so far it's looking good. What I've got at the moment is just the white primer on the underside. I'll show you what that looks like now. I've just sort of neatened up patches where I could. I mean, this is still terrible. There's lots of dents and dings and the filler's shit, but it's better than it was and it's not rusty, and that's all I really care about. No one's going to be looking at the underside of my bonnet. There's not exactly a show engine, so yeah, that's where we're at the moment. Okay, flipping around now to the other side of the bonnet. As you can see, I've started taping up the grills. Still quite not sure what to do with these bonnet clips. Just try and neaten up the filler around the outside and then maybe sort of paint them separately, mask everything off and paint them, I don't know. Still not undecided on what to do with that, but I think what I'm going to do is try and sand around the edges as best I can to try and make that filler a little bit less bubbly, and then see what it looks like from there, I reckon. So yeah, this has been my life for the past couple of hours. Masked off the vents and the bonnet pins. I'm going to be painting the bonnet pins black, I think. I don't know how yet, but I don't want to be white, and they're too manky to leave as they are, so they need to be painted. I've masked them off as best as I can. This is probably the best masking job that I could possibly have done. Really did take my time with the edges, so hopefully it's going to work out okay. So next stage, get a bit of primer down on here and then see what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm a little bit bored of working on the bonnet now, so I'm going to go out and work on something a little bit different. Another little mod that I want to do to the combo while the bonnet is drying is to change out the headlights from the old, the original style sort of normal headlights to the new facelift projector style lights. I think that this is going to make quite a bit of difference, just to give it a bit more of an aggressive front end. Especially with the bonnet that's going on there. So I got these off of eBay, cheap. One was really good condition, the other one needs a bit of work, but I'll show you that in a sec. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to change over the lights from the old style to this style, and hopefully that's going to be quite an improvement. Right, so it's been a little while since I last picked up the camera. I've just been doing little bits and pieces every sort of now and then. Where we're at the moment is the bonnet is painted as best as I can do with rattle cans outdoors. Let's have a little look. Yeah, the light's not very good down here in the garden, but as you can see from a few feet away, the paint job is not too bad. Considering it was done with rattle cans and outdoors, this is the best that I can achieve. There's some imperfections sort of here and there. Now I still haven't done much with these bonnet pins. They still look quite shitty, but I managed to sand this one back so that it's almost just black. I might even get away with being able to sand off the last remaining carbon fibre sticker stuff and kind of getting it back to black and then polishing it up. But this can be done on the van, so I'm leaving that for now. Now I certainly don't think this is going to be a long-term sort of paint job. I'm probably going to start seeing some issues within the first 6 months to a year, but we'll see how it goes. I need to fit this before I can measure for the bonnet pins and other bits and pieces. So I've got my mate Nige coming over in a minute. He's going to help me fit the bonnet, and then we're going to go from there. Every time. So for those people that complain that I use music, that's why. That's why I use music quite a lot of the time, is because all you'd be hearing would be a lot of traffic noise. So anyway, back to what I was doing. Right, so I've got the bonnet installed. It is lined up okay. There's a few gaps here and there, but that can be sorted later. So getting onto the bonnet pins, what I've done is I've just installed the bonnet pins that I got from the guy. I've bought some new ones of these which I'm going to fit. The reason I use these, first of all, there's two holes already drilled from the factory, one here and one there, and that is luckily where the guy had used the holes to line up for his bonnet pins. So they just go in factory holes there and factory hole there. This hole did need a little bit of widening just to angle this a little bit this way. This is not great, this is all ghetto, but I have bought a new set of these. I should have done this earlier, I know, it's stupid, I should have just got these and then I wouldn't have to fix all the crappy stickers on the ones that are on mine. But either way, I bought these because, come here, I wanted to get some new ones of these with the rubber stoppers. At the moment, as the bonnet comes down, it's actually touching on the lights, so I want to sort of raise it up a little bit, but because of this ghetto modification the guy had done to these, it doesn't quite work, so I'm going to replace those with these. So there's a couple of issues. I can't really get it lined up any better than this. I like this line here, it's fine, but to come around here, I can stick a finger in there. The bonnet pins kind of line up okay. I've just replaced the old crusty ones with those new pins. They do need a little bit of playing with to open them up, but there they go. I've still got the catch. The catch still works. So those are the new pins. I've used a bit of the rubber grommet just to sort of angle them to the right place. As you can see, they don't quite shut properly. You have to kind of manoeuvre it a little bit, but then they do lock in. Let's get back in the car, it's too noisy out here. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to call that the end of the video. Got a little bit scrappy there towards the end, but that's how it goes sometimes. The bonnet's on, I'm happy with it. A couple of issues where the eyebrows were welded on, they actually are touching the headlights a little bit, so I know that that's not right. I've tried to raise the front up a little bit by raising the bonnet pins up, and just about sort of managed to get them off the headlights, but then obviously the whole bonnet's raised. So the problem is I'm not a body shop guy, I've never put a bonnet on in my life, so I might take it to some body shops to see what they say. Maybe they know a trick of how to get it aligned. I know it's never going to fit properly perfectly because it's a modified bonnet, but it was a straight bonnet, do you know what I mean? So it should fit on there at least as well as he had it on his combo van. So maybe a body shop's got a way of aligning a bonnet a little bit better. They'll know how to fit bonnet pins and stuff, and maybe they can just tinker with it and get it fitting just a little bit better. But other than that, I'm going to drive around with it, I'm going to leave it on. I think it looks sick. I do hope that you will subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment or a like, and I will catch you on the next one.